Hi everyone, good morning. Good to see you. Well done for being here on a Saturday morning, and hopefully that didn't sound patronising. But certainly a day of the week when a lot of people will have a lie in. So let's balance our energies and start the weekend on a positive note energetically, starting on your stomach meridian, of course. How are your stomach points this morning? Maybe at this time of day you notice something a bit different to if you were to do this technique, say in the afternoon or the evening. Potentially your stomach meridian will be operating and behaving a bit differently. Perhaps your stomach's not as full as it might be later on in the day. Now we're going below the collarbone, about an inch below, balancing your kidney energies here, making sure your meridian energies, every single one of your meridian pathways, is flowing forwards in the right direction. Now we go on to the middle of the chest, to the thymus. And then last but certainly not least, spleen meridian. You have these points at the side of your body, about halfway down your rib cage, also at the front. One of the most important things we can do in our energies is keep spleen meridian strong. All right, so relaxing your arms down, we're going to move into a cross crawl. So do stand if you'd like to, if you feel like moving a bit more, or stay seated if that feels nicer. And then just beginning this alternating movement, going at your speed, the rhythm that's right for you. And you may want to bring your arms higher up. Remember, if your arms are coming in front of your eyes, then you get the crossing visually. Your eyes will see your arms crossing in front of you, and that can help to enhance the effect of the exercise. And now slowing down that crossing, coming to a still position, and let's smooth from the shoulder to your opposite hip. This can be a lovely way to boost your crossovers later on in the day. Again, just like spleen meridian and actually all these exercises here, crossovers are so fundamental for each of us in our energies. So it is a nice thing to do more often. But you might want to pepper it in and do it quickly. Sometimes I'll just do this and you could give it a go now, see what it feels like, just for a few seconds if you'd like. The next exercise we'll do is the Wayne Cook, so crossing one leg over the other, and then bringing your arms out, palms out, crossing your hands and clasping fingers coming underneath. So are you feeling grounded this morning? And to whatever extent you may not be feeling grounded, really welcoming in more rooting, more anchoring as your energies unscramble. And now crossing your legs, so you're going to do the other side of the body. You don't need to cross your arms unless that feels right for you. And again, taking several breaths, doing your best to stay present with how you're feeling. This exercise can be really potent for some people. It can really settle and calm a lot down in your system. And now to end this Wayne Cook, bringing your fingers and thumbs together, popping your thumbs at your third eye, taking a breath here. And then dragging across your forehead, over your temples, and we'll go straight into the crown pull and making space up here. So how is your head this morning? It's always wonderful to notice, if you can, how things are feeling when you're making space, because that can really inform you and guide you as to how much to do, how much pressure to use. Perhaps sometimes you might do 2 or 3 crown pulls. We could do that together now. So you just continue stretching all around the head and then on the sides of the neck as well, because energy certainly for a lot of people gets stuck at the neck and shoulders. And then pulling that energy forward, shaking your hands off, and then returning to your forehead. Noticing when you do a second time, does the area feel any different? And pulling that energy off again, and shaking your hands off. Now come to your forehead and let's sweep back. So with whatever pressure and speed you'd like. So I feel like firm pressure this morning, but perhaps you might want to glide a bit slower, a bit more delicately. And try it a few different ways if you like. See what feels good. The more you do that, the more over time you'll really know what feels the best for you. Okay, let's sit ourselves up. So you begin at your pubic bone. And if you knew what colour would be for your highest good right now to zip yourself up with, what would it be? And imagining that colour beaming from your fingertips, breathing in, coming over your head. When you breathe out, still bringing that colour through your aura. And again, coming up the midline. You can do this as many times as you like. So in the classic zip up, we usually go 3 or 4 times up the front of the body. But sometimes people will do just 1 time up central and stopping at the lips straight away. Or you could carry on for quite some time, perhaps doing a dozen or more of these movements. So let's lock it in now. So the next time you arrive at your lips, turning your hands to lock in that zip up and noticing how you're feeling. We've done about half of the core daily routine here. So let's do the hook up next, where you put the middle fingers of each hand in these places, pushing in and pulling up. And continuing to hold this hook up, I'm going to show you a little bit more about what's happening in your energies for those of you who are newer to energy medicine. So you probably have heard of the meridian energy pathways. That's the pathways that acupuncturists work with. And they're a little bit like rivers, and the energy flows along them like blood that flows in the bloodstream. And 2 of the meridians are called central and governing, and they're at the middle of the body. And you'll have heard me mention central when we're doing things like the zip up, because central meridian travels all the way up the front of the body, like so. So governing meridian has a similar pathway at the back of the body and starts around here and comes up all the way up the spine and over the top and round and ends about here. So when you do your hook up, you are connecting these 2 meridians. Now I'll just mention here, if your arms are tired, give them a bit of a wiggle and a shake. You can have a rest and then swap over if you'd like. When you hold the hook up, these 2 pathways at the front and the back join in a loop, and the energy flows in both directions going round. And we call this loop the microcosmic orbit, which is the most fantastic name. So right now, you have hooked up your microcosmic orbit, And holding a bit longer here is excellent because it also harmonises central and governing as radiant circuits. So this is one of the things that you can do that's so incredibly grounding, but also has the potential to bring in a real depth of peace, ease, and joy. So that's one of the reasons that I often recommend holding a hook up for longer, but certainly resting your arms on some cushions, making it easy. Let's relax the arms now, giving them a wiggle and also smoothing down. So moving away any stagnant or stale energy here, shaking off your hands, shoulders, whatever feels right for you. And now bringing your hands to rest on your legs, taking a breath or two here and just noticing how you're feeling. Perhaps that hook up that was a bit longer has done something lovely in your energy, so just taking a few seconds to notice. And now we are going to connect heaven and earth. So coming into this prayerful position to begin. Breathing in and then stretching, holding your breath. Noticing where can you feel the stretch today. And then coming back to the middle when you're ready. Stretching on the other side, of course. Maybe you feel the stretch in a different place on this side of the body. And then breathing out, coming back to the middle. And then next time when you're stretching, seeing if you can stretch just a little bit more, if it's comfortable. And then on your final breath out, bending forwards. And like a ragdoll, really letting everything go here. Remembering your breath that will help the energy to move. And now beginning to move from side to side and swinging your arms into a figure 8 pattern as you come back up. And we're going to bring in some extra figure 8s now. And perhaps moving around, doing what feels right. So you might prefer just to swing perhaps in one place, might just feel really easy and relaxing right now. Or maybe you'd like to do a bigger, sort of bolder movement, like so. Your arms could swing in and out, or you could have both going the same way. And there truly is no correct way to do this. So whether you're going in and out, or whether your arms are going the same way, whether you have smaller 8s or bigger ones, whatever the direction, the size, it's all good for you. The more figure 8s you have, the better you'll feel. Let's do the Celtic weave exercise now, beginning by rubbing your hands together and shaking them off. And now again, rubbing them together, this time building up some fresh energy, opening up your hands, holding here for a moment. What can you feel? And then bringing that fresh energy to your head, taking a breath here. And when you breathe in next, bringing your arms together and crossing and then swinging out on your out breath. Let's do in front of the waist, breathing in and crossing, coming out on the out breath. Now your knees, and then ankles if that's comfortable, and rolling up your aura as you return back up, so making a circular movement. And just like the figure eights, the more of this that you do, the more you'll be fluffing up your aura, making it as expanded as possible and as thickly weaved and tight. Okay, so bringing your arms to rest and hang wherever they would like, and checking in with yourself again. How are you feeling? Now we will do our radiant circuit. So belt flow to begin, reaching on one side of your body to the back and then pulling the energy round. What pressure would you like this morning? After 3 or 4 times, picking the energy up at the side and going all the way down the side of your leg and off your foot. And then doing the other side. It often does feel really nice with belt flow to get quite a lot of pressure. So don't feel that you have to, but at some point, if you do try with a lot of pressure, see what that feels like, as that can be really good for your energies. Let's add in something a little bit different this morning, but highly relevant in relationship with belt flow. So lovely one to add into your toolkit if you don't know it. And it's called the equator flow. So the equator flow is very similar to belt flow, and it's at the edge of the aura. So reaching with one or both of your hands as far as is comfortable at the edge of the aura. And then it's the same pathway as belt flow. So reaching to the back as far as is comfortable, and then coming round and over 3 or 4 times. And again, you could use both arms. I'm just using one here in case that's clearer for the camera. So bringing the energy around 3 or 4 times, and then you pick up the energy like you did at the side of your leg and smooth all the way down and off the foot, few feet away from the body. And then of course we do the same thing on the other side, so reaching around and coming over and across 3 or 4 times. And then picking that energy up and going all the way down and off your foot. And now noticing, how are you feeling? It's certainly possible you might feel something a bit different if you've never done that one before. Maybe you've never brought it in at this point in your energy exercises while tracing other things like belt flow. And sometimes when people are quite sort of blocked up and not balanced in belt flow, it can be very, very helpful to do the equator flow. So if you liked that one, then the chances are you really needed it, and it will be supportive for belt flow and other places as well. Now we'll do penetrating flow. So beginning at your wing men point, behind your belly button, taking a breath in, breathing out and lowering down, breathing in again, coming up over your hips, and then when you breathe out, coming back down to your pubic bone, and breathing in, coming all the way up the midline, up central meridian, and then breathing out. Some figure eights here. So a lot of our energy systems and pathways interact closely with each other. There's a strong relationship, and some of them travel in pretty much the same area. So there's an overlap where points might cross and meet. So penetrating flow up the middle of the body, very close with central meridian. There's also a very close relationship with belt flow, and certainly with the kidney meridian. Now we're going to trace yin and yang bridge. So starting in your PowerPoint for yin bridge, the big dip at the top of the back of your neck, then smoothing over the top of your head until you reach your forehead and holding here. Now coming through this gap onto your cheekbones and tapping here a few seconds. Then below the collarbone, also tapping here a little bit. And now tracing 3 hearts over your chest. Resting your hands flat and coming all the way down your legs, smoothing that energy down and off your feet. Next we do the yang bridge, so making a column of horizontal figure 8s in front of you. Remembering you could continue bringing in things like colour at any point that you like, really visualising the movement. These are the sorts of things that can really bring some more life to what you're doing. It can make it more potent, and it can also make it more fun. And goodness, there's a lot in life to think about in terms of jobs and to-dos and daily life. So I think it's always lovely to have more fun, and the more fun we have will be so wonderful for the radiant circuits. Now let's turn round, receiving those 8s behind you at your yang bridge. How are you feeling now in this moment? Has anything changed in the last several minutes? And the next thing we'll do is to connect the bridge flows to the front, the back. So making big figure 8s. Perhaps just allowing your arms to swing. Or you could do a slower, more purposeful, measured movement. If you are newer to balancing your energies in this way, then there is a good chance that slower, like I'm showing you now, may be better for your energies. But that is a generalisation. I'm just wanting to offer you something as a guide. And above all, it's about what feels good in your energies, because truly, we all respond to different things at different times. And we all have patterns, you know, like you might find every time you do this, you like doing it pretty quickly. And that might just be the way it is for you every time. Maybe you've done it 3 dozen times and you think, yeah, that's the way I like to do this one. Okay, so now bringing your arms to relax, just taking a moment to check in and notice how you're feeling. Let's do the regulator flows now. So for yin regulator, beginning by tracing a heart over your face, bringing your hands down to your chest. Now coming onto the opposite shoulders and smoothing down. And now smoothing down the front of your body and off your feet. Next, for yang regulator, smoothing round your ears. And then down the arms once again. And then down the back of your body. And off your feet. Let's do the regulator flows once more. It can certainly be more valuable sometimes to repeat exercises. For a lot of people, if the radiant circuits are not particularly well harmonized, then one time might not be enough in the early stages to really get the energies to start to flow differently. So let's do it again, and we'll go a little bit slower this time. Sometimes that can be fabulous as well. So the heart to begin, staying present with your energies, really feeling your fingers moving through these areas. Really intentionally connecting in with your yin regulator. And at the elbows, let's just hold here and see if you can get your fingers to touch this bit here at the back of your elbow. So just resting, there's a big dip here right at the back. And we'll just hold here for a couple of breaths. Notice how this feels. You are holding here on a really calming point for your triple warmer energies. Triple warmer governs fight, flight, freeze. So when we calm triple warmer, it's one of the nicest things we can do for the body and the nervous system. Now continuing with the yin regulator, resting around here and smoothing slowly all the way down the front of your body and off your feet. Now yang regulator. So beginning at your temples and smoothing slowly round the backs of your ears. Now coming onto the opposite shoulders again and smoothing. Maybe inside saying hello to your yang regulator. Welcoming in more balance and harmony there. Again, once you've finished, checking in with yourself, noticing how you are feeling, and then resting a hand on your lower belly for the vagus nerve exercise. So your thumb is resting inside your belly button with one of your hands, then your other hand resting somewhere at your neck. And there are many, many ways that we can balance the vagus nerve, but this is a particularly nice one that is usually quite easy to do because your arms can just relax and be, and you could sit and potentially hold this for a long time. Continuing to hold here, and of course I'm delighted to share a little bit of light language with you. Diasua, dia 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 Cucukana Slayakusha Sisione Shukati Sone Ua Ala Ifa Tukana Sio Kele Shiana Uka Uka Ushala Shi Soke Ua Shuaka La Sione Sione Shia Ua Laya Soka Kaka Tu Aniasi Sione Uaka Si Kotelelelele Kuasiaya Shoniasia Tuakanasia Chiotia Siala Sioke Shiania Tuakia Siaka Tukakakaka Take several deep breaths. And I will choose one of the sacred rebel cards. All right, so this is a beautiful invitation here, this question of what do you feel? And so I'll just hold this here for a moment so you can take in this image, take in this woman's face, her body, her hands. Maybe there might be meaning for you in what looks like an apple and an orange. So perhaps taking this question with you through the day today, what do you feel? And being sort of a student of yourself, noticing what you feel. And maybe there might be a moment where you might not be feeling 100% yourself and balanced, and perhaps picking one or two energy exercises and trying them and seeing if you can return to a real place of ease. So, wishing you a wondrous day, have a good one, and look forward to seeing you soon.